Good morning, everybody. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
So it's a balmy 39 degrees here in Orlando, Florida. Please pray for us. We've had technical issues for the past 2 hours. I finally got in here. I appreciate your patience and time. Thank you all for showing up here. Now, before I get started, I have to find my Ignite students because this is an enhanced Ignite 45-hour course. They are required, if they want their hours, to have their cameras on all times. So if they want their hours, I do see at least one of them here, and they should be coming on soon. I don't think we're going to have that many. I think most of it's going to be you people from my pivot family. So just give me a couple of minutes to get this situated, and hopefully we can get this rolling the right way. Okay. All right. So this is from 9 to 12. It's not going to go from 9 to 12. Those of you that are pivot shifters, we should be done within 2 hours. It should be okay. The rest is for the Ignite students, as I said, and we'll have additional things. And some stuff I'll put on the back end is Florida specific. If you are on the call, even if you're a pivot shifter and you're from Florida and you want to stay for it, that's fine. Anyone else, you can also do that for the same reason. If not, worry about it. First things first, let's get into the chat, today's handout, so you guys have everything that you need. All right, so let's get this. I got to push a few buttons. We've heard that before. Let's see. We are going to go into here. CMA. Here. Okay. So please let me know that it's registered in the chat and you guys are able to download it and work with it. Okay. All right, let's see. I need to do this one. Okay. All right, so let's begin. All right, can someone please tell me what is a CMA? It's not a trick question.
Comparative market analysis.
That is absolutely correct. Comparative market analysis. Let me follow up with this question. What is CMA is not a what?
Appraisal.
Ding, ding, ding. Very good. Okay, so we got that straightened out. Can someone tell me why it is not an appraisal?
Because we're not appraisers.
We're not appraisers, okay? Anything else?
We don't charge.
Who said that?
LaShawn.
Thank you, LaShawn. And either you've been to my class before or you get it.
Guilty.
Yes, the reason it's not an appraisal is you don't pay for it. So everybody knows that a CMA is what? FREE, correct? So who does CMAs?
Us.
Us, meaning every licensed realtor, correct?
Right.
Correct.
So what makes it different from everybody else? Nothing. We're all the same. So how do you separate yourself from every other realtor?
The way you explain it or the criteria you use.
Okay.
No.
And that's okay because you're just like every other realtor. You do the same exact thing.
I will say by us doing the CMAs, because not every real estate agents are actually using those tools to present this to their sellers.
And that's true. And there's several ways you can do this. It's not just using this beautiful tool, although this is probably the best and most efficient tool to use. There are others out there, okay? And usually if you get to the same ending, meaning 3 active or pending or 3 sold, which looks just like a appraisal, same thing. So who remembers last year, and probably those on the pivot shift call will know what I'm saying. What was the phrase, or what was the key item last year that was number 1 that we were using?
Home equity analysis.
Analysis.
Well, that's for this year. Very good. Fast forward. Yep. We don't call it a CMA. We call it a equity analysis. An equity analysis, because an equity analysis is totally different from when they hear CMA, because it piques their curiosity. So how many of you are doing home equity analysis? As James says, do one a day. Now, there are very simple, easy ways to do home equity analysis. Those of us that have been with Keller Williams for any number of years or any number of months, there's a great tool out there that most agents don't realize is the home equity analysis. It's already built in. How many of you back in the day learned to use Kelly and the Kelly Snapshot? The Kelly Snapshot is a home equity analysis. Why? It is the mofer. It is the mofer to get them to raise their hand to say, oh, I want detail, which means now you do the formal CMA. So here's the tip. If you're doing the DTD2, do the database 2 letters of the alphabet that you're calling every single week, 4 times a year, and you're doing the do the database 2 text letter. That's a letter in the afternoon that you're doing for that week. I believe this week is N. When you're doing your texting, easiest way, text them a Kelly Snapshot. Don't worry about it's not their neighborhood. Just do the zip code they're in. And the easy script that goes along with it. Hey, here is a quick equity analysis for your neighborhood. Contact me for detailed information. That's the mofer to get them to raise their hand. So I tried it, I want to say about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, when Lee started talking about doing texting 4:30 to 5:30 every day. My first day, I did 20 of these snapshots. I got 3 responses. Okay, that's very, very good. What is a MO4 is the question. A MO4 is on page 61 of the shift book. It stands for make offer for immediate response. The fact that you send a snapshot saying, contact me for a detailed analysis, that is the MOFR. You just made them an offer for immediate response. Okay, so let's move on. Any questions before I move on?
Where do you find the Kelly offer?
The Kelly Snapshot, is that what you refer to?
Yes, the Kelly Snapshot.
So you're with Keller Williams, I presume?
Yes, I am.
So if you
Relatively new.
downloaded, okay, if you downloaded your Kelly app, K-E-L-L-E. In the search bar, you would put in SNAP, S-N-A-P, space, and the zip code. It'll automatically bring up that snapshot for that area, and then very simply, very easily, you can share it. If we have time, please remind me on the back end. I'll be happy to show that and show you guys exactly how to do it if you don't know how to get that done. Okay?
Thank you, Ronnie.
You're welcome. All right, so let's
Ronnie,
move
can you
on.
repeat what you say in your text? You said, here's the quick equity analysis for your neighborhood. What was the?
Contact me for a detailed report.
Thank you.
No worries. Short and sweet. There is no right, no wrong. It's the idea to get them to raise their hand. Okay, the MOFR. All right, so we are going to go into the multiple listing service, the MLS. My MLS is called Stellar MLS. Stellar MLS is built by CoreLogic. It's also called matrix. Those of you that have matrix, it's probably going to seem like the same to you, and that's fine. If you don't have matrix, don't worry about it. The beautiful part about RPR, Realtors Property Resource, it's built by realtors for realtors. Heard that before somewhere. It's also by the National Association of Realtors. Everybody on this call is with the National Association of Realtors. So that means NAR has provided it to everybody. So whether or not you're with CoreLogic or not, you still have access to Realtors Property Resource. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to share my screen, and then we'll get into today's class for this. All right, so let's do a share. Okay, and all right, so I'm going to log in.
Hi, Ronnie. I have a quick question. Are we able to record this or have access to this?
It's being recorded right now, so you all will have access to this eventually, number one.
Mhm.
I also have 4 or 5 of these. I'll just stop the share so I can answer the question. I also have 4 or 5 of these that are located on my YouTube page that I'll put into the chat eventually. I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, and you can see them. Those are previous ones that we've done through the last couple of months. Okay. All right.
Thank
So you're welcome. Make sure everybody is ready to go. We're going to be right in the MLS. Those of you that have that access, you can play right along with us. Let's see now. Okay, so there is my MLS, and we're going to get started just by clicking on the home page. So very simply, you're going to see that each page is numbered. The top left on your handout says that's the step. Remember, I said these are 10 steps, 10 steps. The idea is to do this quick, fast, and easy. How long does most of you take to do a complete CMA? Anyone?
Too long.
Too long.
2 hours, 2
I
hours.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so maybe this will be worth the price of admission. Because the goal here, while it's going to take for me to explain it, the reality is the one I did for this class, and I did it yesterday, took me 17 minutes from start to finish.
Wow.
Someone say, Maya. Do me a favor. Thank you.
Is,
Okay, so took me 17 minutes start to finish, and that's with me stopping for a break for a cup of coffee. Okay, so that's how easy this should be. And the idea is, if you're going to use this, where do we find a handout? Handout should be in the chat. If it's not in the chat, please let me know. I'll repost it there. If you just joined us, you probably won't see it. Okay.
And there it is. It's there.
Okay, thank you, Cheryl. All
You're
right,
welcome.
so first page says, first log into the Stellar MLS and select Matrix. Your homepage should look something like this below. Okay, great. Next thing is step 2. Step 2, we are going to type in the target address, the home that you want to get RPR reports for. Let me make sure I have the correct one.
Is this stellar similar to what we're gonna see on RPR?
I'm sorry?
If we don't have stellar, what you're showing us will translate when we log into RPR.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%. You with Paragon or something like that?
With Bright.
Bright, yeah, it's the same. It'll be the same. It'll just look branded to you differently than it is with us.
Is it all the MLSs, Ronnie?
It's a National Association of Realtors. It has to be with all the MLS.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay,
That's why, and not to digress, some of you are going to come and say, well, I use Cloud CMA. I used to use Cloud CMA. It's okay. It's got some nice flash. I still use some components of it, like What's My Home Worth. The problem with Cloud CMA, it's third-party software. It could go away tomorrow. RPR won't go away because it's built by realtors for realtors, the National Association of
Right.
Realtors. So that's why I'm much bigger component of that. The other thing is this has been with us since 2014. And it's a great tool. Half of the association does not use. There are 1.6 million members, only half of them actually use this beautiful tool. All right, so part 2 says to put in the address.
Hi, Claudia.
Can we please mute? Let me see, I'll take care of that. There we go. Okay. All right, so in the speed bar, that's what that's called here. It says enter shorthand or MLS number. So as I know it, less is more. Less is more. So the less that you type in, the more you get out of this beautiful tool. So the address we're going to use today is 3524 Kinley. And that's the only thing I'm going to type in there. All right, I'm going to hit enter or click on the magnifying glass, and it should bring up exactly what I'm looking for. And yes, it does. It is 3524 Kinley Brook Lane, and that's in Claremont, Florida, 34711. There was no need to put in anything else because the speed bar does what it's supposed to do. Okay? All right, now, those of you that understand what this is a what? This is the line that shows us exactly what the listings are. Underneath here is the MLS number, the status. Now, when I did this yesterday, guess what the status was? Active. It was active. Do we have to do an active listing to do a CMA on? Not necessarily.
No.
So it went pending. That's how fast. That's why when I do these classes, I intend to wait to the last minute because they're going so fast or they're going under contract so fast. That's why I prefer to use active because that's what we're used to. It doesn't hurt us to do the CMA though, okay? All right, so let's see. The next part of it says to click on the MLS number, which I will. Once we bring up the MLS number, the first thing that we'll see is 3524 Kinley Brook Lane, Claremont, Florida, 34711. On the top here, these are the extra icons that help you do certain things throughout the transaction. So for those of you with Stella or something similar, just hover over. It will explain all the features that you should be using to help you, okay? For our purposes today, we are looking at the 4 beautiful dots on the right side. All the way to the right, it says RPR Property Report. Property Report, that's what we are going to be using. As it says in the next step, is to access the reports, click on this icon. So I'm going to do that by just clicking on that icon. Any questions so far?
Yes,
Okay, good. Ready?
Uh,
Yes,
Can you repeat how can we get Kelly in our phone?
I'm sorry?
Can you repeat how can we get Kelly the app?
You would have to go to your App Store or your Play Store to download
Okay.
Kelly, okay? If we have
Okay.
time on the back end, I'll be happy to go through that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so now we get to Realtor's Property Resource. So the next step actually shows us a picture, the front picture of the house there, okay? It starts to give us a little information. Some things are pertinent and some things are not. Okay, so as I scroll down, we get to the property summary. The property summary says pending for sale. The list price, $354,990, $355 to be exact, okay? There is an RVM. Does anybody know what the RVM stands for?
Realtor value model.
Realtor Valuation Model. That is correct. As I hover over it, you will see the RVM is estimated values that are generated by an automated valuation model that uses on-market and off-market. This is why RPR is so accurate, because it pulls from everything. Anything can find on-market, anything can find off-market. If it doesn't find anything off-market, it will give what's called an AVM, Automated Valuation Model, okay? Plus publicly recorded sold data to provide an estimated property value. An RVM is the most accurate estimated value. RVMs and AVMs are available for single-family residences, condominiums, smaller multifamily properties. RVMs and AVMs are updated twice a month. So you notice this was last updated on 12/28/2021, about 2.5 weeks ago, okay? Here's the thing, guys.
Overpriced.
Someone just said it's overpriced. Does anybody think it's overpriced?
Yeah. By like 25 grand.
No,
Thank you. The correct answer is no, it is not overpriced.
Really?
That is absolutely correct. Those of you that have been in my class before know why I say it's not overpriced, number one.
Okay.
Those of you that haven't, let's talk about it. So if we trust the RVM, and why we would trust the RVM is this. When the RVM has a 5-star confidence rating here, where it says here RVM confidence, I have proven more times than I can count that that's probably what it's going to sell for or around that. We will prove that today to make sure, because the confidence score describes the expected accuracy of properties RVM or AVM estimated value. 5-star rating is the highest confidence rating and 0 the lowest. Confidence score is based on the outcomes of multiple automated valuation models. A high score indicates that the model yields similar estimated values for the property. A low score indicates that the models yielded a wide range of estimated values for a property, okay? And then you can click and learn more about confidence scores. So let's go back to the fact that we have, do we not utilize the RVM if the confidence score is less than 5 stars? That is a great question. The great question is this: if it is 5 stars, you probably can take it to the bank. If it is 4 stars, it is still very solid. If it is 3 stars or less, you have to do your homework. What do I mean by that? If it's 3 stars or less, I don't know if I'm going to trust this number right here, 328,460. I am going to do more homework, and that homework means I'm going to create a CMA that's going to go against that, or maybe not against that. It all depends what I'm trying to achieve here, okay? Yes.
Okay, you just said it wasn't overpriced, but the price that is showing here is 328,460 and the lease price is 354.
Yes, I'm gonna get to that in a second, okay? Question was, says 328, and it's listed as 354. Why is it not overpriced? Okay, so first of all, we know there's an RVM. The second estimated value is called an AVM. An AVM you'll find usually in our MLS, you'll find it under realist tax. That's called an automated valuation model. That means that the computer just spit it out. And what's the third valuation model? Does anybody know that? What's the third valuation model? Starts with a Z.
CMA? The CMA?
Zillow, there's estimate.
Zillow estimate, which is all over the place, okay? So those of you that are in Florida, you'll get this. Those of you that are not, just hear me out. So we are prone to hurricanes. We know that. Orlando's in the center of the state. Probably the best reason why, to avoid the hurricanes.
Yeah.
And when the meteorologists come and tell us that hurricanes coming this way, that way, they're called spaghetti models. The European says it's going this way. The other one says it's going that way. RPR is the most accurate one coming right at us. The AVM is slightly off. And of course, the Zillow is totally bonkers all over the place, okay? As we know. All right, so with that in mind, why is this not overpriced? Okay, so this is the way I was taught when I started as a agent. I was started as a buyer's agent, but I learned why, as a listing agent, you should think this through. When you're pricing a property, you're pricing it to do what? Sell for the highest and most in the shortest amount of time with the fewest hassles. Correct. Let me ask you this. When you list a property, do you list it for the price they want, or you list it for the price to include the fees? What I mean by that is this. If the property is listed at $354,990, $355, how much are the closing costs that are incurred?
Okay, I see what you're saying now.
Anybody know what the closing costs are on the sale side?
Isn't it normally like 2%?
Oh, I wish it was that low. Anybody?
5%.
There is an exact number.
8%.
Want a 3% of the sales price?
Okay, so let's think this through, guys. How many chickens are you charging?
6.
Yeah, so it's at least 6%. So you got 6 chickens to worry about. So what else is involved? Well, there could be title fees. There could be closing costs, correct? All right, let's make it easy. I know for a fact it's 9%, but of course I can't do 9%. I can't do that math, but I can do 10%. So on 355, 10% in closing cost is 35,000. 35,000. Okay. So if it's 35,000, I take 35,000 off of 355. Do the math for me. So it's 320.
20.
320. So I can't list this for 355 if my buyer is expecting to walk away with 355. That's number one.
Right.
If the buyer says they're looking to walk away with 300, 355 is good. Why? Because the great buyer's agent is not going to make their offer. Forget that this is a crazy market. I get that. But the good buyer's agent is never going to offer full price. They're always going to look because the buyer wants what? A discount. So even if the buyer comes in and says, well, I'm not going to offer 355, I'll offer 340. If the seller accepts it, you've already made them more money than they were expecting. This also helps you. Why? If you were taught the same way I was when using a seller's net sheet, which you provide to the seller, I'm a big fan of not using the title company's net sheets. Why? Because they only do one scenario. I was groomed by Keller Williams when the seller has 2 scenarios. The first scenario is what you listed for. The second scenario is what they can't go below. Meaning that if they can't go below 300 and I listed for 355, if in 2 weeks I get 0 offers or 0 showings, the National Association of Realtors tells us it's typically overpriced. We need to reduce the price. If you reduce the price by 5 or 10,000 and they know they're making a penny more than 300, it's an easy way to get your reduction. That's why that seller's net sheet, the dual one, works so much better and easier. If we have time, I'll show that on the back end, okay? All right, so Arlene Bianco said, go direct to NAR, if needed. That's correct. If it's not in your MLS, which it should be. Okay, thank you, Arlene. Appreciate that. All right, let's get back into sharing. Any final questions on that and why we did that for a listing, why it's not overpriced? Okay, so as we see there, very simply, the next step says to what? Create a CMA. Create a CMA.
May I ask a question?
You can ask a question.
Thank you so much. So I missed a step and I'm just wondering, are you saying from the very beginning, log into whatever MLS you currently have and we'll find an RPR icon?
You should.
Okay.
You should.
Because I've always gone directly to the page, which is great. I just would love a shortcut if there is one.
Well, here's the thing. If the property that you're looking up, and look, I'm looking up a Florida property. I get that. If the property you're looking up is in your MLS, meaning your area, and it's listed, go through your MLS. The thing is, when a property is not in your MLS, that's when you need to go outside RPR.
Okay.
Does anybody on the call have IMAP as their tax
We do in Miami.
source?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Okay. In IMAP, there's actually an icon that goes directly to RPR. That's also built in there, so you can use IMAP. But for everybody else, if it's not in your MLS, then you would use NARRPR.com. I'm a perfect example. When I moved here in Florida, I bought my home directly from the builder. It's never been on the MLS. You can't find it if you go through my MLS. I need to go to NARRPR.com or IMAP tax to actually look at it. So whichever way works better for you. I'm going through the MLS because we show how we're going to use this inherently here. Okay?
Yes,
right.
thank you.
You're welcome. Next thing. So we'll see that it is pending for sale. I want you to pay attention to a couple of things. First thing is the living area square footage is 1672. It is 3 bedroom, 2 baths, built in 216. Now it says beneath there, select analysis type. Select analysis type. So comparative analysis says build an estimate based on comps. That's the default. The second one says sales comparison analysis, a more detailed evaluation. So this is the new and updated software. Because when I started using this in 214, it didn't say on the right side there, what's the difference? What it said was, right next to it was, under sales comparison analysis, a more detailed evaluation used by appraisers. Used by appraisers. Yeah, guess what? Appraisers are licensed realtors. Appraisers use this. The reason that they changed it to this is that most realtors were being afraid to use the sales comparison analysis because they said, I'm not an appraiser, okay? The truth of the matter is this, the quickest and easy way is the comparative, build an estimated based on comps. The more detailed, as it says there, is to use the sales comparison. For our purposes, we're using the comparative analysis. So we'll just go right to the next step. As I turn the page, it says confirm facts. All right, so let's go to where it says confirm facts. So it says confirm the home facts for 3524 Kinley Brook Lane in Claremont, Florida. So on the left side, you'll see it says public record data. And it says 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2 full baths, 1672 living area. To the right of that, it says listing data. Single family residence, 322, 1672. How do we know which one is right?
The one on the left,
How do we know that?
because it comes from the public records.
Okay,
It comes from the property appraiser office of the county.
okay. So here's the thing, Alberto, I'm not trying to call you out, but here in Florida, back in the boom, 2005, these things were totally off. Just in my county alone, Polk County, which is 2,100 square miles, they only had 6 appraisers to cover the whole entire county. Today, fast forward 17 years later, they are still correcting what was erroneous back in the boom. Okay? The only thing that the property appraiser cares about is the living square footage. Does anybody know why?
Taxes.
Very good, Sandra. Taxes. Because on January 1st, the hammer comes down and the property taxes are attached. So they could care less if there's 30 bedrooms or 20 bedrooms or 2 bedrooms. All they care about is the living area. And that's what the taxes are based on. So who cares about that? The buyer cares about that. The seller cares about. The buyer cares about what? Was it an illegal, permitted, or not permitted garage conversion, that it's a 4th bedroom and it's not a 4th bedroom. The county wants to know why, because the square footage changed. And that's why you get a lot of illegal permitted ones, because they don't want to pay taxes, okay? So the only way that you can confirm that it is in fact correct is to physically go to the property and verify what is there. Now, when you're doing this report to your buyer and or seller, depending who you're doing it with, you have the ability to put your changes in here if some of them warranted it, okay? In our case today, I know for a fact this is all true. So with that in mind, I'm going to move to the next step, which is confirm facts and close. Okay? Once I confirm the facts and close, just follow. It's just like a wizard. And the next step says to find comps. So we're going to find comps. All right, so when I click on find comps, the very next thing that I see is the property summary up top,
Where did you click there? I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
find comps. Scroll up a little bit. There you go.
Ah,
Okay,
thank you.
find comps. All right, so we see listed for 355, 1672 square feet, and 3 bedroom, 2 bath. Now, those of you that love maps, you can search by map. You can draw a shape, box, radius, polygon. The black is the subject property, okay? I caution you, if you're going to use the map, make sure you know exactly where the subdivision ends, if it's a subdivision. If you don't, you may be adding on inferior comparables. That's why I'm not a big fan of the map. I will go by distance because every property will be listed with a distance, so it's easier to judge for me what I want to use, okay? On the left side, it says property type. We're doing single family. Property status. We're doing active, for sale, pending, closed. And guess what? Those of you that like to lead generate, you can also look for expireds and withdrawals. Why? That can help you to find properties, can find listings that you can use, okay? Because an expired or withdrawn could be something that just expired yesterday. Could be an opportunity for you to pick that up, number one. It could also be a good comparable, depending on what you look at. Okay, the default is within the last 6 months. Those of us that are old school knows the default was 3 months. 3 months. The appraisers do not care what happens moving forward. They don't care. The media says, put a sign in the yard, name your price. What they care about is what happened yesterday. So 3 months used to be the default. Now it is 6 months. And I have used comps depending on scarcity, 12 months and or 18 months. How many of you have gotten an appraisal and the appraisal contained comparables that were over a year old? Anyone?
Not typical though for them to be, right? Unless there is no other comps to use.
If there's no other comps, they will.
Right.
I've had that happen. And what they do is then they give a weight towards the time frame. So it's critically, it's what they do is they average the wait time with it. Okay, Crystal, you had your hand up. Did you have a question?
No, you answered it. That's why I put it down. Thank you.
Okie dokie, thank you. All right, so now that I have it at 6 months, I'm just very simply going to go with search.
What does it say, 2 beds? Mine says 2 beds. I don't know if yours says 2 beds.
Yep, 2 beds and up. I left the default.
Okay.
So it was a great question. Let me see, maybe I'll just take it back. Let me see if I modify. Yeah, okay. So back on the screen. Guys, you see here where it says size, it says 2 bedrooms to max, 1 bath to max, living area 1,200 to 1,200, lot size. I used to tweak this, and I used to tweak it very specifically with the living square footage. So I'd probably do something like 1,600 to maybe 1,800 because I wanted to keep it as tight as possible.
Right.
I have learned by using this beautiful tool, don't worry about it. Leave it alone.
Okay.
Number one. How many of you in this room, in this call, I have 87 of you on this call right now. How many of you have done BPOs? Probably in 2008 to survive, if you remember correctly. And BPO stands for what? Broker Price Opinion. Broker Price Opinion is a CMA. It's usually requested by the banks or the loan servicers. They'll charge the customer probably anywhere up to $250 for it. They'll pay you a measly $65 for a drive-by, 4 photos, and 3 active, 3 sold. But that's how we stayed afloat. Number one. Number two, fast forward to today. Is anybody doing BPOs today?
No.
Don't. I still get orders every single day for BPOs. Today it's drive-by, 4 photos, $25 is the fee, and it's 5 pages. If it doesn't pass quality control, you don't get your pay, okay? Remember, the first word broker means you share with your broker. So if you're on a split, you're sharing that $25.
Oh, wow.
All right, so back in the day, we had a book of what to use to do everything that came out of it. So when it came up to doing BPOs with square footage, we used to give, if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, it was $50 a square foot. So the difference between 1672 and 2,000 square foot, 200 square foot that it is times $50 is minuscule. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, okay? So that's my little tip with that. All right, so let's now see what we've gotten by asking for the search. So we asked for it and it gave us 34 sold properties that were found to use as comps, okay? So I have learned to make this very, very simplified and easy. If you're a computer nerd like me, you know, if you go over here where it says square footage, if you click on the square foot column, it will now move the column to a high-low square footage. So if we know that our square footage is 1672, all I got to do next is just scroll down to 1672 and start looking at those comps. And that's what we want to do. That's exactly what to do. So to save time, I've already selected some, so we can discuss them as we go. So time is always the best part. Time is always the best part. So 1/6/2022, that was 2 weeks ago, or less than 2 weeks ago. Sold for $356. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2010, exact same square footage. Am I going to use this as a comp? Yes, I am. So I'm going to check it off. As I start to check it off, you'll see the next step shows you that it starts to make a comps used valuation here and a spread. Okay, let's go back to 1672. The next one that I used was 3668 Corsica Lane. That was closed on 12/1. Also, I want you to pay attention. This one closed at 0.55 miles. It's less than a half a mile away from the property. This one was 0.39, 3/10 of a mile away from the property. 12/1, 345.9 sold for 1672. Yes, I'm going to use this. Okay. The third one that I picked was sold on 11/29/2021. 2/10 of a mile. It's probably right down the street around the corner. Sold for $355, 1677 square feet. I'm not worried about that 5 square footage. I'm going to add that to my comps list. Now, there is no right or wrong way to do this. Remember, we don't make the market, we interpret it, okay? So depending on what you're trying to interpret and depending on who you have in front of you, do we use this for just sellers when we're trying to list their property? Absolutely
No.
not.
Used for buyers as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because what we're trying to do is prove to the buyer that it's not overpriced, number one, to avoid lowball offers. That's the key, and that's what we're doing today, actually, working from the buyer side. Now, before I go on further, I want to point out anything with the blue star says that it was used in the RVM. It was used on the RVM, meaning RPR. That's how they came up with their RVM of 326, I think it was, something like that, 328. Okay? And that's fine. That doesn't mean we're going to use these comps. You decide whether you're going to use it or not based on what you're trying to get across here. Okay? Another thing, can you use more than 3 closed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yep, you can. Here's the thing, be careful. The more you put in there, the more problem you may run into with an overzealous buyer or seller.
How many do you normally recommend? 3?
Yep.
Okay.
Keep it short and sweet. But that's okay, Robin. If you want to use 4, go ahead. I made that mistake and it cost me. So that's how I learned. I stopped that.
Just
Ronnie,
That-
I
want to
do have,
learn.
Oh, no, that's
Ronnie,
okay.
I put in an address and it had no comps.
Yeah,
And I
that'll
went
happen.
back 12 months. How do I find comps? So I went back 12 months.
How about
What do I
18
say?
months?
Okay,
How about 18
I'll
months?
try.
You try that?
I'll try that. Thanks.
Okay, okie dokie. All right. So let's get back to task. So the task is,
Someone asked, what does it mean if there is no star next to it?
I'm sorry?
Someone asked on the chat what does it mean if there is no star next to it?
That means it wasn't used by RPR for the RVM that they came up with, if there's no star. Okay? All right, so remember, let me see, not so much with 12/1, but definitely with 1/6. RPR came out with the RVM on 12/28, so this never even happened yet. So that's one reason it wasn't in the RVM, okay? All right, let's go down now to, as you keep scrolling down, we'll get past all of these already closed, and now you'll see we have 10 for sale. 10 for sale properties found to use as comps, okay? So this one here, 3616 Kinley Brook Lane. It is down the street from 3524 Kinley Brook Lane. They listed it on 1/3 for 409,300. Can somebody tell me what's wrong with this thing?
Overpriced.
Way overpriced. I know it's 400 square foot bigger,
And you have an extra bathroom.
and I don't think that's still going to warrant that kind of price.
Right.
Okay? So I definitely am not going to use that one. Okay?
Well, Zillow home, so that explains it why.
Well, there's another thing.
Zillow.
that was pointed out was a Zillow home. Okay? I guess they're trying to make up for all those bad homes that they purchased. All right, so enough of the Zillow beating. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's move on. The 3 homes that I selected.
Ronnie,
I
that's
wrote down-
why there's
Yes.
15 days on the market.
I'm sorry?
And that's the reason why there's 15 days on the market.
Pretty
Still not
much.
open.
Pretty much. Remember, everything is still hyper local. All right, so I go right down to 1672, and let's see if I could find anything. So I used 3781 Quaint Lane. That's less than a tenth of a mile away. Now, I know it's sold on 916. I'm not worried about that. It's 1672 square feet, 32217, and it sold for 385. I use that as a active,
So you do 3 closed and 3 active, or?
3 closed and either 3 active or pending.
Oh,
I prefer to use pending. Does anybody know why?
because they're already under contract.
Well, it's already under agreement.
Yeah.
Well, what's the main reason that I would prefer to use pendings?
That prompted an offer. That prompted a.
There's no sales price on it?
So they know how quickly it went under contract.
Okay, all good.
No, it's
all
the
good answers.
closest, it's the closest to the current market.
Maybe. How do we know it is though?
And it closed sooner, so you'll have a final, like an accurate sale price sooner than the other ones, probably.
Because the buyer determined the market.
To justify the price?
Okay.
I can call the listing agent and ask how
If
close
it-
they got.
If
All right,
you
hold
find
on,
out-
hold on. Quiet, please, quiet, please. There's one of them agents from Stamford, Connecticut. She's a little bossy. What'd you say, Donna?
I said, because I can call the agent and find out how close she got to the asking price.
Ding, 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 ding. That's actually right. A pending is your best bet. If you're, listen, even if it's not that you're working with a buyer, even if you're working with a seller, ring, ring. Hey, Donna, how are you today? I noticed that 123 Main Street went pending. Let me ask you a question. I'm working with an overzealous seller here. We're just trying to put it in the right perspective. Did you get full list price? Now,
Oh.
Donna's not going to say
Right.
the price. She may say, well, we had 7 offers, 4 were above and 2 were below. Okay, now I make my decision.
Right.
Same thing if I ask that question, trying to get the idea for the buyer. Hey, did you get full list price? What happened? Well, I got over asking. Oh my goodness. So now I can tell the buyer, look, you better come at price or over. But that's the beauty of working with pendings when you're doing CMAs, that you call that listing agent and ask these questions. Remember, Scouts Honor, you can ask any question. It's up to them whether they're allowed to answer it. I'll tell you real quickly. I was working with a buyer, FHA. This is just before pandemic, way back. Her max was 135. I called the listing agent. I said, hey, thinking about it, we looked at it, we're thinking about it. Do you have any offers? Yeah, I got 7 offers. Are they cash or financing? I have 3 that are cash and 4 that are financing. I said, oh, wow. I says, did you get list price or above? They said to me, and I quote, my seller said to let you know, we have 7 offers, 3 above, 4 below. The highest is at 145.
Wow.
I said, thank you very much. My buyer's max is 135. I'm not going to waste your time. Couldn't go. Why should I write the offer? The seller gave them permission to say that. Because why? They didn't want to fish 30, 40 offers. Okay. Sometimes it works in your favor that way. Okay. All right. So let's see what else I used as a comp for this. So we did 3781 Quaint Lane, 3839 Serena Lane, which is pending, 0.31, 339, 899, same square footage. And then the last one is 3606 Caladesi Road. 3606, that's also pending. That was on 12/8, 352. Okay, any questions on the selections?
I have other questions. And when we do this CMA, then now that we are doing through the RPR, can I just do it through MLS?
Of course you can. Question was, can I do it through MLS and not just RPR? Absolutely, that's your choice.
Which one is better or more?
There's 88 people on this call because they know that RPR is probably the better way.
Oh, okay.
Your MLS does not pull from off property. Your MLS does not pull from off market. RPR does. Okay, that's why you want to get all the information that you can. Can somebody tell me the only time that RPR has a problem? I've said this on many times.
You said when it's in the construction, that they can't pull up
Not that.
Oh, okay.
There's only one time that RPR will have problems, and that's with vacant land.
Oh.
So if you're doing vacant land, you may have a hiccup. The reason being is vacant land is, it's an art, because what happens if we go into a subdivision that there was 200 homes, 199 sold, the last lot is left. How easy or how hard is it to actually comp that? Unfortunately, it's harder to pull comparables for that. So in that case, I use a land baron that I know is in my area that does land at a very high level. That's an agent that's very high. Okay, so before I move on,
Ronnie, I have a question. Oh, sorry.
hold on. I got 3 hands up, so I want to take those hands and then I'll take additional. So Nicole, you go first, please.
Hi, I apologize if I'm going to send us down a rabbit hole, but I just tried
No.
2 different towns. They're about 15 minutes away from each other. One of the towns is I live in New Jersey, borders New York State. I'm pulling, it says within this zip, and it's pulling the town next to it that's in New York versus New Jersey. Then I pulled another town within zip, and it's pulling the next town over. So what am I doing wrong?
It's not you're doing wrong.
It's like, I don't need the next town over. They're very different towns. One's a different state. So
I get that. If you know that's the case, then I would use the map, draw the polygon and isolate so you don't have to worry about it
okay.
in that
All right.
case. Okay?
Okay.
Here's the thing. And look, I'm from that area up there, okay? So I
Yeah.
kind of know it's more prevalent here in Florida.
Okay.
In Florida, the same zip code covers 2 towns.
Yeah, and sometimes we have towns with 2 zip codes, but like the
Correct.
Upper Saddle River Market is very different than Spring Valley.
Absolutely.
And like,
So what you're telling me, Nicole, is you know your product.
oh, 1000%. But
And that's
I'm
the
also
best
looking
part.
for a cheat sheet, and that's why I'm here.
Cheat sheet would be the polygon. Use the polygon in that case.
Okay.
narrow it down. That's
Thank you,
where I do
Ronnie.
it. But you have to know the area. If you don't know the area, then
Yeah,
you know, it's
no.
weird.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Alberto.
Yes, Ronnie, in the comparable that you are using, it makes different the year below the property?
No.
What was the question?
The year that it was built.
Oh.
No, it doesn't. I'll tell you why. Because the same way as there is a formula for square footage difference, there is a formula for built image. Okay? Because an appraiser, when they put down the property, let's say the subject is built in 2010, if they use properties that were built in 2008, they will give a difference to weigh out the age of the property.
What about if it's new construction?
Same thing, same thing. Here's the thing, it is so minute for our purposes, don't worry about it. If you're gonna get down to detail, then I need you all to go to blog.nar, blog.narrpr.com and watch the detailed video that they do about the adjustments. We're not doing that here. The idea here is to be quick, fast, and easy. And I promise you, you're gonna get mostly the same result. That's what
Can you
I've learned
repeat the webpage, blog, NAR?
I believe it's NAR blog. I believe it's blog.nar.rpr. I'll show it on the back end. It should be on the last page, I believe, of the handout that I gave you guys. All right, I got to keep this moving because I want to keep the time going. All right, Elaine, you had your hand up.
Just really quick, Amy Beckton had asked a question on the chat. This is a tool. I'm a Keller Williams land agent, division leader up here in Pennsylvania. This tool is the best tool that I know of to get those off-site, land deals, because land is very hard. It's sold underneath the table a lot, and this is one of the best ways of getting it. But I will caution you, because I know that you guys are a different type of agent than I am. I'm more of an equestrian farm agent, but public water, public sewer is very important. So when you're diving into it and you're looking at smaller lots, if you have public water, public sewer, that's a way to fine tune your your report. But I use this a lot. And Amy Bechtel had asked about land, houses with larger tracts of land. I highly recommend this, but you always have, you can do an entire class on houses with vacant land, but this is a really good tool. Just be cautious of public water, public sewage in comparison to septic and well and spring and things like that.
Thank you, Elaine. That's where feasibility study is great. Okay, Bonnie, you had your hand up. You got on mute.
Sorry. So my question is, if I have properties I already know, a really small neighborhood, and I've already triaged, I know which ones are the better match. Is there a way to go straight to pull the 3 properties I want to use without going through this long line of selections? Like,
It should be at the top. I think it says add properties.
Okay, perfect. And then the other question is, can you do one report for closed properties and one for the active pending ones? If you want to show them separately and don't want one to skew the number on the other?
You could stop with just the closed and just finish it out.
Okay.
Yeah, add a known property. See up top here, it says.
Perfect, great,
You
thank
can
you.
add your property. Great question. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, anyone else? I'm going to move on. Okay, let's continue. All right, so now we have our three active pending or solds. On the right side here, you see it starts to give you a valuation amount. Valuation amount is 339, 339K to 385K. Okay.
Did you click at the bottom already?
I did not click anywhere yet.
Oh, I don't have that. What you have on the side?
Scroll up to the top. There you go. Okay, so now, as the handout says, the next thing we're going to do is update valuation and close. Update valuation and close. Okay, so now that I've updated valuation and close, the very next thing, it says there, is the amount. So the result of our comp analysis states that the property is worth $356,972. $356,972. Okay? If we're okay with that, we move on. If we're not, then we can go back and edit. The adjust comps is if you want to get more specific. More specific. I don't do that in this class. That's not what this was designed for. So what I would do next is I go to the left where it says summary. I want to bring back the summary report. As I bring back the summary report, we now return. And the summary report, our property summary states the list price was $355. The RVM was $328,460, which was $1,228.21. Today, 1/18/2022, we have a comp CMA value of $356,972 or $357.
Do our buyers see this RVM? No.
That's up to you.
I wouldn't want them to see it. 'Cause
Depends.
That would confuse them, right?
It depends.
Oh, really?
It depends. It depends. It depends on where you come up with the numbers, how you can make the numbers. Okay? So the question was, do you let the buyers see the RVM? Maybe. Okay? And that depends on what we're trying to get across here. So for us, we're trying to get across what? $354,990 list price is the actual value of the home. So in this case, if I'm working with a buyer, no, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you can't offer 300 because the properties are valued at over 350, over list price. So my gut tells me, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, let's make an offer because I believe there's still wiggle room of 340 and see what happens. Okay? So that's how you protected your buyer. All right, so now that we have the summary up like that, the next thing we're going to do is we want to create a report. So very simply, that blue shiny thing on the right there, we will create a report. Now, as I
go there, may I ask a question back on the summary page where we showed the three values?
I got two hands up. Okay, so I got
I'm one of
Benjamin and Crystal. Go ahead, Crystal.
Okay, so can you scroll back up to the summary page where it showed the three values? Okay, so did I understand correctly from the very beginning that you said RVM number is accurate most of the time, or did I not hear that correctly?
No, you heard that correctly.
Okay, so if that's the case, why did we come up with a CMA value that was in line with the list price? How did that come? I mean, I saw you do it, but I'm just trying to understand how to explain the RVM number and the variance.
So the RVM number, okay, if you hit the view details, when you hit the view details, it actually tells you how RPR came up with these values. Okay? So they used one from September at 280, was a 218. They used one from December, 334. December, they used one from April. May, look at the prices here, guys. Why do you think that was down more? Okay? The ones we use today, fast forward, were current as within what we used in the last 3 months or less, number one. Number two, property details. They used two recently closed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They used 11 comparatibles to come up with the RVM. If we were to go and take 11 comparatibles for an RVM, we probably would come to that number too. You see, you have the ability with the amount of comparatibles that they give you to tweak the number in any way that you see fit. In other words, what is the point you're trying to get across? So in our case today, we're trying to make the buyer believe that it's worth more than the list price, that they're actually getting a deal. If I was working with a seller, where would I want to push that number?
The opposite direction to be
Down,
realistic.
down, exactly. Exactly. So I
Perfect.
want
Thank you
to
for
be-
explaining that.
No problem. Okay, Benji, you had a question?
Yeah, so Ronnie, when I did mine, I think I missed the part where you was doing the map, and then I did mine, but my numbers are a little off from the result that you have. So can you please go back to your map so I can see how you narrow it down to pick the ones that you picked, please?
I didn't use the map.
Okay, what did you use? Because I did the same thing. I think me and you choose different properties, and mine come out to 339, and yours, you have the correct number.
Did you use the exact properties I used?
No, I think I missed that part.
Okay,
and
so
I
that's
just go.
That's why.
So
don't worry about
okay,
it,
when
because that's okay at 339.
Okay, when you're picking the property, do you go by the, I know you go by the closing date, the most recent ones. Do you pick the higher numbers? Like,
I go
what do
closest
you-
to the property, distance-wise, closest to the property, square footage, and then time.
Okay, so in the
Close to
same
the property,
subdivision
square
or next.
footage, then time. Okay.
Okay.
In the essence of time, guys, I gotta keep moving. All right, so let me see, who's next? Karen.
My question is, so with the market being what it is, where we're seeing houses go pending and close for, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over the asking price, when the house goes close at that price, did that then effectively raise the starting point for everybody? Or are you better to have your list people also start a little bit below and hope they can get 20 to 30 above?
It depends. It depends, because it's still hyper local. It depends. I mean, I'm a perfect example. I have the property listed at 150. I had 35 showings. Only got one offer. The price point was 150. If truth be told, I should have had what? 35 offers the next day, and I didn't. It's still hyper local. That's what you got to take into gear. Remember, it's what the market can bear. Now, 8 months ago, I probably would have agreed with you. And guess what? The buyers right now are putting their foot down. You're seeing it more and more.
Come on.
They're putting their foot down. And what's happening? If you watch your MLS every single day, you'll see how many are coming back on market, back on market, back on market. What does that mean? Those appraisals blew up. Okay, so that's what's happening.
That's what I was concerned about too, right? So you still have to price it at, and let the buyers determine if they're gonna push it too far over.
Absolutely, absolutely, you can do that. Yeah.
And how much do you take into account if a property has, extra outbuildings? I know we're only really doing this on the square footage of the house, but if it has additional acreage and, like an extra garage and a different carport,
So that's if you want to do a detailed one, then you would go the detailed way. I'm not doing the detailed. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right. Georgia.
Thank you. Quick question for you. I'm in northern New Jersey, and we have a lot of homes that are torn down to the foundation and then rebuilt as a much larger home. I went into the reset values section, and under refined value, there's nothing for a complete renovation of a house. Is there a different way to handle that? It went from a small ranch to a 4-bedroom colonial.
The only thing I can tell you with that, I would look into the help section of RPR and see if they have the addition. They have webinars that are phenomenal. That'll guide you right to that. And at the end of this, I will show you guys where that's located, because there are some phenomenal ones for lead generation. There's some to help you to do everything and anything you're asking and talking about. All right.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Georgia. Reagan. I know, first time on Zoom. Please unmute.
Hey.
Hey.
My question was answered. Thank you.
Okie dokie. All right, let's move on. All right, so we went to the summary page and now we are going to create a report. So I click on create a report. All right, let's not overthink this. Let's make this simple and easy because that's the way it should be. All right, you'll see it says property report. Property report. Okay. So property report is what I'm using. I'm not using 28 pages as it states there. I'm using a modified property report. If you view the sample, it'll show you everything in there, those 28 pages, and shows you exactly what it shows. For our purposes, I told you it's modified. So if I click the plus sign, when I click it, it'll show you what I've selected. And as you go over to the I, it shows you each page and exactly what part of the page I am using. Okay, so you will see what part of the page is being used. Now, I get down to, this is a brand new thing called the AARP Livability Index. This is new, it's about a month or two old. It's a great thing just to put in there because it shows them the property and the area and everything about it, okay? All right, I'm not using the property photos. Do you know what it looks like?
Yeah.
It takes up pages. I don't need that fluff, okay? I don't put historic photos. The refined value, I'm not gonna put the refined value because we didn't refine the value. Now, if you're using the one where you do a detailed analysis, you may want to put in the refined value. The comp analysis. The comp analysis just shows this page. There's no reason to show it. Okay? Property history. Yes, I'll put the history. Why? Because it shows whether it's gone up or down and how it's gone through the years. It also tells them when it was bought by the previous owner, what they paid for it. Sales and financing is also the same thing. Pretty much tells them what's going on in the market there. Distress info. I didn't say this in the beginning, but I stay away from distressed homes. I know there's probably a minuscule of distressed homes right now, but there can be a few out there. I don't use the housing stats or anything like that. School summary, school reviews. Yes, you can use that if you so desire. That's up to you. About RPR and our data, that's a great page to use because it explains everything so you don't have to. One last thing. This is brand new to RPR. You can suppress the estimated value for the subject property. You can suppress the estimated value for comps. You can suppress the refined value for subject property. The question was asked before, what if I don't want to show the estimated value, the RVM or AVM in the report? This will suppress it. What if I don't want to show the estimated value? Choose whether to hide it. Choose whether to hide the subject property. Choose whether to hide the refined value. That they're talking about this page with those numbers, so you can suppress that. I myself used to just use Adobe Pro to take care of that. Now RPR, I guess, has been pressured by a lot of agents to put that in there. So that makes it easy. Why? Does anybody know?
Why did they remove it?
Yeah. Why do you want to remove it?
Because you don't want to confuse the buyer.
So that's number one, not confuse the buyer. What about on the sales side?
You don't want to set the
You want to have the an opportunity to meet with them. If you give them everything, there's no reason to have set the appointment.
Well, that's number one. Number two, when you go to your listing appointment, if you don't get a signed listing when you leave, don't leave this, especially if it's already filled out, everything, or leave that page out. Because I promise you, you just told them what it's worth. The next day, you'll see a sign in the yard for sale by owner.
What if they ask you to leave it?
Then you leave it without that page. Make sure that page is not there. The page that
That's
tells
what
them.
the price is.
Mhm.
Got it.
Absolutely.
Which page is it you don't leave?
That would be page 2, it should be, which is this. That shows the refined value, the comp analysis, the current estimated value, the list price. You don't leave that.
Summary.
So never staple them.
That's true. You could do that also. Yeah, whatever works for you. However you want to do it. All right, so with that in mind, you now go down, you can deliver it directly to the buyer and or seller right from RPR. I caution you, do not do that. I would run the report, download it, and then proofread it before you send it to them in an email designed how you want to do it, okay? All right, so
Run the report.
I'm going to hit run report. It's as simple as that. It's going to take about 2 minutes to come up. You'll hear a doorbell if your volume is on. Okay, while I'm doing that, there are several other reports here. There's a seller's report. I remember using the seller's report when I had a very high C analytical that said, Ronnie, I like the neighborhood report. That's what I used because it was 10 pages short and sweet. He says, but I want more information. So I said, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I went here to RPR. I used the seller's report, which was 81 pages, but it did what I needed to do because I emailed it to him and that's what he wanted. He wanted more information and more information and more information and charts and graphs and scars and everything else. And that's how I was able to get the listing. He was over in England, so it made it easy because I wasn't doing that in person. Okay. So this is another great report you can use. In fact, every one of these reports are great. So I just heard the doorbell. I'm now going to open up the report. As I open up the report, let me see if I can change this so we can see it.
I better change that. Everything is wrong.
Okay, so here's the report. And because I have everything already pre-done, it's already branded to my market center. And at the bottom of the first page, it's all branded to me the right way so they can find me exactly, okay? The next thing, page 2, shows the property. And then,
Rodney, I have a quick question.
yes,
Did you use the seller report or the mini property report for listings?
no, I
Like the
used
one
the
you,
property report and we had unchecked all of the photos and everything else.
Now, if I.
so property report, 28
Yes,
pages.
that's correct. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. I left it. Oh, I don't know. That I'd have to look into. All right, so second one shows everything. Everything that is showing. Our comp analysis, the list price, the current estimated value. And then it shows the home facts, the extended home facts. It'll then, this is the AARP, livability index for the area. And as it tells you, a score over 50 is above average. So this area is perfect. This area is perfect for them living there. The comps and adjustments. The map shows you how close these comps are to the subject property. It shows you the active and pending that we chose. It also shows them the 3 closed that we used. Finally, it shows the property history. You'll see in the boom, well, it's right before the boom. This is towards the bust when it started to bottom out down to 2010, where you could probably get this for over 100,000. And now it's valued at close to 3.5.
Wow.
Okay. All right. So property report just tells you who owned it, who's the buyer that bought it. The property report showing you the area, everything in its entirety. And of course, the final page was about RPR, about RPR's data, etc. Okay? All right, before I move on with this report, let me leave that right there.
Ronnie, can I ask you something?
Share. And I have a couple of hands up. So let me start with Barclay.
Would you use the seller report for a listing appointment?
Absolutely. Why not?
Just curious.
I wouldn't use all 81 pages though, unless they're an analytical. If they're a high C analytical, I definitely would. You can. Okay, next, Lydia.
I thank you. What if you have, so if I'm using RPR for properties that are not currently on the market, and you're seeing that the estimates that they put on are very highly, overestimated or overpriced, what to do with that? Like the RVM and the CMA are overpriced, or one that's showing like the AVM only and it doesn't show anything else, and you know that it's way above what the market value is. How do I make adjustments for that?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question, because that's the next part of this. So if you guys remember, the title is 10 Steps to a CMA, RPR, and 5 Ways to Justify what RPR says, okay? This is not the only tool in town. And what I mean by that is this is the main tool to use, but there are ways to back you up. Because here's the one thing, guys, that you have to understand. I present this to a buyer, I present this to a seller. A savvy buyer or seller is going to turn around and say, well, that's just one opinion. Why should I take your value? Why should I believe you? That's just one opinion. All right, so with that, let me take the hands and then I'll move on and show you what the difference is. So go ahead, Kevin.
Ronnie, are you downloading this to the computer and sending it out through command?
I could if I really needed to.
In the emails?
Yeah, I could if I wanted to.
Okay.
You don't have to. It's up to you. Yeah, you can attach it in there. Sure.
How else are you sending it?
Just regular. Regular email is fine.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Karen.
Hi, me, Carolyn.
I'm sorry,
Sorry,
Karen.
my hand was still up from last time.
I'm sorry?
My hand was just up from last time. I didn't
Okay, thank you.
get it figured out.
Kayla is next.
Yeah, I had a similar question, Ronnie. So we're talking about using this, or we discussed earlier about using this for lead generation. So, say we do the Kelly snapshot and we say, here's a quick equity analysis of your neighborhood, contact me for a more detailed report. So we do the more detailed report, but we don't want to give them, like you said, the price and all of this information right up front. So then, we've done it, all the work for them, but that's really what they're looking for, is the valuation of their home. So
Correct.
How would you recommend we handle that without giving them all the information right off the bat?
Oh, you meet face to face.
Okay.
That's the only way to get all the information. And that's meeting face to face and you bringing a listing agreement to get signed.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what this is. This is a MOFR that's designed to do what? Get you business, get you an
Right.
appointment. That's the key. Thank you, Kayla. Bonnie, you have your hand up?
Yeah, so when I do values for listings or for buyers, I take into consideration the age of the roof, the age of the HVAC system, updates. Is that going to be done through the advanced only, or how do you bring that into play?
You could do it with the comp analysis. You still can do it if you want to. That wasn't the premise of what I'm teaching here.
So is that
With
tool
detail.
in there? Is that some of the details?
Yeah, yeah, well, like when you get to the step where it gives you the recommended price,
Yeah,
then the next one, it says to adjust, and that's where you can make the adjustments and make it into the formal.
okay.
Or not. That's up to you, depending
Okay.
on your situation.
And then
Carolyn, go ahead.
Sorry, Bonnie, are you done? Did you get?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, yeah, I have a question about the equity analysis. So I've been, my coach wants me to offer this. So I'm wondering when, like, doing one of these, like a quick thing and asking, if you say, let's get on a call, if someone says yes, how would you handle that? Would you maybe run through like a Zoom screen share? Would you send it to them? What would you do?
So the best way is still to get belly to belly, face to face.
Well, we're not doing that. We're not doing that here probably for the next month because of COVID. So,
Okay, so Zoom.
yeah. So
I want to be able to read them. I want to be able to see them.
Right.
I want to know exactly what they're looking at. That would be the best way.
And then screen share?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
And which of these would you like, the whole point is just to get in front of them and it's very brief, right? So this is just to start a conversation. Which of the reports would you use?
Okay, so it comes down to their motivation. Are they motivated to sell? Are they ready to sell right now?
No, this is people who just have, bought maybe in the last few years, maybe they're just curious.
Okay, give them an 81-page seller's report. Yeah, bury them in data. There's nothing wrong with it. It's accurate. It'll show you're a professional, number one. Look how hard you're working for them. You're not. Why? You put up their address, you click seller's report, send.
They don't need to know that.
But they don't know that.
No.
They may come back and say, oh my God, all the research you did. Yes, you see how hard I'm working for you? Are you ready to list with me today? That's why you need me to get your home sold in the shortest amount of time for the most amount of money with the least amount of hassle. That would be that's what I did with my one guy. That's how I got it. I just buried him in, information. It's a great tool and it's free to use. So don't be ashamed or, afraid not to. Thank you, Karen. It's a good question.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, you'll be the last one because I got to move on because we're running out of time here.
Hi, Ronnie. What if you don't get the comp analysis to pull up on the report? Does it sometimes not show up?
The comp analysis? No, it should show up. It should always show
Because
up.
so far I looked up 2 different addresses and it's not showing up on the second page for me, so I'm not sure. And I have it checked off in the previous page where you go under property report, but for some reason it's not popping up.
So the only thing I could say, because this happened last week, somebody called me too, and I remember this. If you suppress one of the 3, it also suppresses the comp analysis.
Okay, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't suppress any of them.
All right. Then, since I don't have you in front of me, the best thing I could say, go up to the help, and they are phenomenal. I'm telling you, you call them, they'll take care of it in less than 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I'll do that. Thank you.
All right, so we justified the fact that RPR came in, and bear with me. I know we're sitting at 356, listing 355. The RPR was at 328. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Everybody say yes. All right. So guess what? I like the fact that it came in at 328, blah, blah, blah. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, here's what I have that interpret the market. Okay, well, Ronnie, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's only one opinion. What else do you have for me? Well, I'm so glad that you asked. Okay. So for us in Matrix, it's going to be the tab right next to RPR. It's called Realtor.com Pro Search Property Report. And once you click on that, it will now bring up that property on Realtor.com. So those of you may have noticed or may have not noticed, Realtor.com in the last 6 months has done what? They have actually patterned themselves after the Zillow. And what I mean is every single property on Realtor.com, or don't hold me to it, just about every single property has a valuation, an estimate.
Really?
Shucks, who'd have think, right? That they would do that. So sometimes this is where it gets cute. Sometimes they'll put the last sold for, it'll say the estimate right there. So today it doesn't say that. All it says is the list price. Next thing it says is view property on Realtor.com. So I go to view the property on Realtor.com. When it comes up here, and you may or may not have to log in as a pro, as a realtor, okay? When I come to this page, what are you looking for? You're looking for this beautiful tool here that says home value. When you click on the home value, it now gives you January 2022, valuation provider was Collateral Analytics and Quantarium. Don't ask me who they are. I have no idea, nor do I care. Take whichever one you want. Why? Because when you take that, now you have a second opinion. Because why? I can print out this page and bring it with me. Well, it's not just my report here from my multiple listing service. It's also according to Realtor.com, and that's the script. That's the line, not according to Ronnie, according to Realtor.com. Your home, or the home value here, is 326, 632, 327. So I've started to itemize. I have RPR at 328. I've got Realtor.com at 327. Okay? That's one way to justify. Let's take it a step further. So I'm going to open up another tab. So one of these two, well, both of them are very nasty, and unfortunately, we do need them. The first one, let me switch this up. The first one is Bank of America. Ding, 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 ding. And at Bank of America's homepage, it has home value. Home value. So very simply, I'm just going to copy and paste and put in our address that we're looking to get information on. Make sure it shows up. There's a little hiccup here sometimes. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. All right, click on it. Bank of America says it's worth $345, $969. My goodness gracious me. So $346. Okay. It shows you the comparables and the value history that it got it from. Okay.
How did you get to that page? Bankofamerica.com or?
It's pretty much bankofamerica.com. It's on the last page of the handout is the link. So here's the thing. Don't overthink this. If I print this out and bring it with me to my listing appointment or to my buyer consultation, I now have three things that are telling them what the property would be worth. The script goes like this: Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, according to Bank of America's website, the home is valued at $346. If you were to walk in the bank and ask for a loan, it should or probably appraise for that amount. What you're doing is building yourself some ammunition to go against them, okay? And their objections. That's number 1, 2, 3. Let's go to number 4.
Okay.
Number 4 would be the next nasty bank that we have. And that's Chase. And that's the home value estimator. The home value estimator. I click on search for the property. I put it in. I click search. $3524 Kinley Brook Lane. They have an estimated value of $315,400. $315,400. Okay. Truth be told, when I first started using Chase for this, on the bottom here, it used to tell us where they pulled their information from. And what they did was they showed an emblem. That emblem was from CoreLogic. CoreLogic's who built the MLS I use. So they're pulling the data from the same MLS that we are using. Okay. So that's why it's still a reliable thing to use. And the last one that we can use would be through my MLS. Now, some of you may or may not have this beautiful tool. It is called Remind. You may have heard it. It's the new kid on the block. I don't know if this is going to stay with us. That's why I'm not, it's third-party software. So we don't know if it's going to stay with us, but still, while it's here, I will still use it, take advantage of it. So with Remind, the beauty of Remind is you're actually going to get more information than you need. Very simply, you go into the search. Paste in the address, click on the address. Once it brings it up, just scroll down to the right and go right here where it says under schools, valuation. Hit the valuation. It gives you a consensus of the average valuation is 326, 366. They pulled from First American, which had an estimated value on 12/22 of 331. Black Knight 278 on 6/1. I wouldn't use that. Remind of 316 on 116. I might use that. Redfin at 351. I might use that. His estimate has never been right, and I might use that. All depends what I'm trying to get across. So I'm going to take the average of 326, 366. Okay? Everybody following me?
Yes, Ronnie, here, can I say something?
Absolutely.
This Remind has also a CMA tool, which is very practical to use. Would you recommend it? It's very easy and practical. You can do it in 10 minutes there.
Yes, I know you can. And we can do it. Here's the problem. Remind is just like Cloud CMA. Cloud CMA is the same way too. With Cloud CMA and Remind, you have to subtract your, when you select the properties.
Yes.
With Cloud CMA, let's say you ask for 20 sold, you have to subtract 17 and add the 3. More time. With both of them, both Remind and with Cloud, they don't pull from off-market properties.
Yes, they don't. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why RPR is still so much better.
Yeah, but for just distribution in the neighborhood to get some more leads, it might be a handy tool. That's what I plan to use now.
Okay, so let me explain something to you.
Okay.
So here I'm going to go and show you. I don't have my camera on, so let me just change this. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, it'll be easier now. All right, so if you see all 5 that I added up, correct?
Yes.
What is the average? It says it right on the bottom there.
328.
All
That's
five,
the-
328. That was the average, correct?
Yes.
When I first clicked on and started with, just give me a second, I get back there. When I first clicked on and started with RPR,
Yeah, it gave you that number, I think.
you're absolutely right. Give me that number 328.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, guys. If you print out that page and that page only, that's an equity analysis right there. That's the tease. That's how simple and easy it is. Just print out that one page. That happened on the call with James Shaw when the lady sent him the one page. That's all she did was send her page 2, showing here's what your property is listed for, here's what the RVM is worth. That's the tease to get them to raise their hand.
Yeah.
That's simple and easy to use.
To be
I went
clear,
through the whole thing to justify if you're going to sit down with them and go through everything. But the reality is this: if you were to take just those 5 pages that I printed out from the start, you've already got exactly what it's worth.
Correct.
Ronnie, just to be clear, are you saying the property summary? Are you identifying that as the one page?
The one page would be this. Just give me one second.
Second page on the property summary.
Yeah, on the handout. Let me see if I can get it up there again. Yeah, it should be this one. Okay, so it's this one, minus whatever you want. Okay, don't do a comp analysis. So the comp analysis is gone. Just use list price and this, if it's listed, if it is, depending on what you're trying to do. You're just trying them to get to raise their hand to what? Work with you, work with you. That's what we're trying to do here. That's the idea.
And if it's not listed?
And if it's not listed, then you're going to use NARRPR.com and still be able to give them, RPR will still give it, if it's not listed, it'll still give you an estimated value.
RPR, it's saying it's you know, it's
And any of the other 5 will also give you a value. It's very rare that they won't give you a value, even if it's not listed.
so
Okay.
Go back to remind which one, because you, I don't think you finished. Where would you print that page, or does it have another step after the evaluation?
Which one?
If you go to remind, go back to your tab.
If I go to remind,
I think you still have it open.
and let's see.
So
Okay.
would you just print that?
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm using the 326.36, the average, that's what I'm going to use.
So if you print it, it's going to show, for example, it's going to show Black Knight, which we said that might not be a good one to use because it was.
So I would take that out.
So you can?
I don't know if they allow that.
That's my question. Yeah, okay.
So everybody knows how to do a screenshot?
Yeah,
Then you screenshot it without Black Knight in there.
got it.
Yeah, don't overthink this, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
It's the opportunity to get us to get more appointments and stuff like that. That's the idea. Okay? The reports are good, obviously, for what you're trying to get across to each and every one of them. Okay? All right, so that's basically how RPR is used. Now, before I let you guys go, those of you that are not staying for the rest of the class, let me just go and show you what I've been talking about as far as using the rest of RPR. Okay, so as soon as you get up to here with RPR, so underneath, is it the help? No, it's live chat. View more ways to learn by going to our training area. If we go to the training area, Okay? This is the bulk of RPR. What did you learn today? All right, so
What website is the RPR.com?
that's right in rpr.com under the help. It says there, who is the audience? Don't worry about it that you're not a broker, okay? Or leave it and don't click on it. But here you have the Learning Center, building a relocation packet with RPR, investment analysis, how a CMA can guide buyers in a tight market. These are all webinars or tutorials, okay? Finding the best fit for first-time home buyers. RPR for new members, if you needed another refresher. The valuation tools for agents and appraisers, that's the CMA. This is probably, let me see, this might actually be research, search properties to use as comps. Yeah, this is the one that they created after I created this myself. All right, valuation tools for agents and appraisals. Now, if you want to get specific, you click on buyers. You can click on, that's finding the best fit for first-time home buyers, if you work with a lot of first-time home buyers. If you want to click on CMA, RPR valuation tools for agents and appraisals, make a lasting impression with your listing presentation. They will show you how to make your own listing presentation via RPR. You can choose the course lengths that you like or don't like. You can choose whether it's a webinar, whether it's a printable, whether it is, advanced, beginner, intermediate. There are so many different things in here that you can use, okay? Nothing found on a beginner. Let's look at the farming. Finding sellers for today and tomorrow. Real estate farming is your key to success. Building a geographical farm. If you ever thought about building one, these tutorials and webinar are perfect to help you get to where you want to be. Remember, this is all coming out of the dues that you're already paying for. So for goodness sakes, please use this. Please use this. The knowledge base has everything and anything about tips, search, how to search, property details, reports. It explains everything and anything about this beautiful tool. There was an email that came out, I want to say it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Just give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. It was called Start the New Year Right by Learning. Let me see if I can get this. Hold on. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? All right, doesn't look like I'm finding it. Oh, wait, I think I got it now. Sorry, still not being able to find it. Oh, come on.
What are you looking for, you said?
We had an email from RPR, was start the new year right, it was called.
Okay, let me check.
All right, unfortunately, I can't find that. So, guys, this is your main tool to use, as it says, okay? And if you didn't know it already, RPR can be used as a lead generation machine. Some of you may or may not know that. And what I mean by that is, very simply, you can search anywhere that you're looking, anywhere you want. On the residential side, you can search for withdrawn, canceled, expired. You can search for any type of listings that you want. You can do any type of lead generation through here. As you see, it will show you exactly what you can see there. Opportunity zones. And this is all created easily and for free. So an opportunity zone is what? Just what we say. It tells you step by step how to use it, what to use, how to find out what's going on. Okay? Search above for market activity. You can adjust the filters. Now, the easiest way you can learn this is what? Like I said, go to the RPR blog page and it will show you in a webinar step by step. If you want to get more of the market, that's where I would go to. All right, so we are at the top of the hour. Before I cut it, let's take the last hands that I see here. Kayla, go ahead.
Mine was up from before you answered my question.
Okie dokie. Voya, question?
No, I'm sorry, you answered my question. Thank you.
Okay. I don't want to mispronounce. I see. You need to unmute, please.
I forgot the hand up there. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So this is the first time I'm raising a hand, therefore, excuse me.
No worries. All right, Sarah.
Hi, Ronnie.
Hello.
I have a specific question. I'm working with a customer and I was looking on RPR to send them a report, but I'm not going to send them the mortgage history. However, I did notice that there is a mortgage taken out. They've owned the house since 2000, and in 2019, another individual couple pulled out a $207,000 second mortgage on the home. So I want to know how I go about that. Do I call the title company listed and ask them what's going on, or should I just disregard it as like an error? It's on MLS and it's also on RPR.
So
it's also on Remind.
The title company is going to know first in hand if they have it. It should show up on the title report. Did you get the report?
The title report, we haven't requested from the title company yet. I wanted to verify this information with you as the trainer for RPR, so I knew what I was talking about when I spoke to them.
Okay, so you're working and representing the buyers, right?
It would be a seller.
You're representing the seller.
Yes.
Okay, so Equitable Title can very simply do a what? Pencil search.
Okay.
Yeah, which is free.
So I'll just go ahead and give Equitable Title a call and ask them to take a look and see what's going on.
Absolutely.
So what do you think
They want your
happened?
business. That's our preferred vendor. Go ahead.
What do you think happened there?
It could be anything. The seller lying to you.
True.
Or you never know. I mean, I just don't know until
Okay.
they see. What's going to happen is when Equitable pulls the title search and they do it, they'll know exactly what happened. Yeah, because it'll show up. It just happened to me on a probate issue. Could be a probate that was never settled and they didn't dot the i's, cross the t's. That's what's happened to me. There was a bank loan, there was a mortgage. It was satisfied, but they never closed it out in the books. So could be something as simple as that. Okay,
Okay, thank you so much.
but equitably be your best bet to help you with that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Who else has a hand up? Sandra.
Hi, question, RPR app, do you use it? Do you like it? What are your thoughts?
Absolutely, positively. If I had more time, I'd show the app.
Okay.
Don't have more time.
Because sometimes the software doesn't catch up, but you think that it works pretty good?
It's completely accurate. It's line in line with this, totally. In
Perfect.
fact, my gut tells me I think they do the app first before they move on.
Okay.
I've used it on my tablet. I've used it out in the field. You can do reverse prospecting with it, which is what I love. Showing time app is attached to it. I can schedule a showing right from RPR instantaneously. The value there is in you
No,
can
just
do it.
thinking like you can just pull a CMA real quick from, you know,
Absolutely.
like
Absolutely.
right there in front of somebody and they can.
That's right, Sandra. And you can also do school reports right there, which is good. Very helpful information.
Great,
Okay.
thank you. Is this recording and you have the emails, or how can I give you, like, how can we get a copy of this recording?
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Before I take the next couple of hands, let me do that in case somebody wants to leave. So if you go to, let's see, there we are. If you go to YouTube, it's called KW Classic Cappers in Training. You'll see my name there, okay? The first thing that pops up there, you'll see quick equity analysis, 1, quick equity analysis 2 over here. You'll see most of them that I've already done. This will be up there as soon as I can get it downloaded. It usually takes me a couple of days to get that together. There's also a lot of other good things on there, mostly from Pivot Shift, okay? So there is an equity analysis. The same class is right here, the first one. If you look under videos, and I guess if you type in equity, it'll also show it to you that way. Let me see, EQ.
Another quick question, do you have a equity coming up?
An equity.
An equity class, another one?
No,
equity
usually
analysis.
next month will be the next one. But you'll see the first two are there. The third one is the golden letter, okay, and the BTD2.
And the listing presentation is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
absolutely.
Thank you so much, Ronnie, this is great.
Okay, I got that out of the way. All right, next question, Bonnie.
Just at the very beginning, you made a mention of a snap that you were using, and I didn't get that down. How you?
Very good. Okay, so this may or may not work. Give me 1 second. Because sometimes sharing the phone gets a little out of whack. See if that'll work. You guys are in for a treat. It worked today.
I did one recently for my neighborhood now, a snapshot, and it made it funny. It took a listing from rental listing also and put it in the comparison. So it was weird.
Okay. All right. So what we're doing is this. Those of us that are with KW, Kelly is her name.
Okay.
It's called the Kelly Snapshot. So the Kelly Snapshot works like this. Get it back to this in a sec. Oops.
I hate Kelly. She does that to me all the time.
Oh, she's not like that. She's really very friendly when you get to know her. Okay. So when you get to Kelly, you see that Kelly automatically brings up a Kelly snap for a half-mile radius of where we're located. Who cares? I mean, if we're working with somebody here, great. Somebody give me a zip code.
27312.
27312. So I'm going to go and tap where it says Ask Kelly. I'm going to type snap space
27312.
312.
Yes.
27312. Send. She does her magic, and that's a Kelly snap for 27312. And that's in Chapel Hill. Oh, you're in North Carolina, ain't you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to view the Kelly snap. As I view the Kelly snap, it gives me the map of that area. And this works for anything, guys. Now, we used to do when we first started neighborhoods, but unfortunately, neighborhoods are not as accurate per se. All right, using the next door. Zip codes work better. So just use the zip codes and it narrows it down. All right. If you see on my screen, it says all. MC means market center. Team means team. Agent means agent. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. Just leave it at all. As you scroll down and say it says total accurate, total pending, average days on market, average list price. I can expand and it'll show a matrix of active, pending, medium, average. Okay. Listing price, sold sats, etc. The key to the puzzle is this, right where the square box to the right of the zip code is with the arrow, I'm going to tap that. When I tap that, it says share Kelly snap. Leave it checked off all just like it is. In here would be the message. Here's a quick equity analysis of your area. Call me for a detailed. Okay. Then after it says message, you go share. What I've been doing is using it on my DTD2 texts in the afternoon. Okay. Now, if you have it set up the right way, which means it's all been branded to you, if you branded your white pages, branded your marketing profile, this is a simple, easy, no-brainer. Okay. I am going to, and you should do this too if you want to see, to make sure you have all your details the right way. I am going to send it to myself. Okay, let it go through the magic. This would be the same thing as the consumer getting it. I'm going to tap it and click on it. This is what they will see. For the past month, branded to me, the snapshot. Tells them total active, total pending. What's that?
That is awesome.
Yes, I know it is, Sandra. That's why I use it.
I'm like wowed. I'm getting excited.
That's called a MOFR, right? Make offer for immediate response. Bingo, bango, right? Look how, yes, it's easy. That's the point. Don't overthink this, guys. Just use a very short and sweet. Hey, here's what's happening in your neighborhood. Contact me for details, right? You just want them to raise their hand.
PM texts are, this is awesome.
Exactly. And if they don't respond, what do you do?
Call them.
There you go. The follow-up, right? Because you already got the number. So now you follow, hey, how'd you like that? Hey, did you see what's going on in your neighborhood? Oh my goodness. And of course, if they're not doing it, then what? Who do you know, right? Referral. Who do you know? Do you have somebody who's looking to move in this beautiful neighborhood today? Do you hear anybody whispering? What's your real estate plans for 2022? Hey, did you know that you have 60,000 in equity? Let's pull that equity out. Maybe you want to invest in your home. Okay, you don't want to go in your home, let's go somewhere else. It's an opportunity, an opportunity. That's what we're trying to do here. Okay, guys? So that's pretty much with that. All right. Since you're hanging on, and I was able to get my phone connected, since you asked about RPR, there's RPR Mobile, right? RPR Mobile is the same exact way. There's a chance to load. RPR Mobile, when it first comes up, pulls from a half-mile radius. 24 for sale, for lease, for that. How many of you know what your average market median price is? Well, I'll make it easy for you. Swipe to the left. There you go. There it is. They do everything for you because I'm in the market center, so it's pulling a half-mile radius. Now I'm the genius that knows exactly what's going on in my market. Okay?
Honey, do you search your?
Hold on, I got two people talking. I'm sorry, Sandra, what'd you say?
Do you search by address on this one, or do you put it zip code like on the Kelly?
So I can do both. So for my purposes right now, I'm going to swipe again to the left. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to do this. When most buyers look in an area, what are they looking for?
Location, I guess.
Yeah, what
Schools.
location? Who said that?
Schools.
Ding, ding,
Mabel.
ding, ding. Oh, that was Mabel Cologne's on the, I didn't even know that. Hello, Mabel.
Hi, Sugar Pie.
All right, so schools, we want a good school zone. So how would you like to be able to do this? How would you like to go tap schools? Forget about you can go by geography, you can go by school district, okay? Let's put in a zip code. So I'm going to use it right here, 32819. All right. I am going to use that. That's Orlando. It brings up the whole pie. I don't care. I am just going to go to list, which is up top. I am looking for a school that is right up the block from us. Dr. Phillips High School is one of them, okay? And it's an A- rating. That comes from greaterschools.org. Now, do you see how easy it is to use this beautiful tool to find properties near me? I don't even have to use the MLS, the multiple listing service. I hit find nearby properties. It brings up the properties in the area and what they are. Okay, all I got to do is click on the property. Okay, this is acreage. I don't want acreage. Let me go this way. Well, this one's pending. Oh, let me find one. That one's pending.
Ronnie, I have a question.
Go ahead.
The mobile RPR, is that linked to MLS at all, or did you I just downloaded the app on my phone. Did you just create a different account for that one?
No, same as the MLS, directly straight through.
So did you go through the MLS and then download it to the mobile?
No, you can go. Are you Apple or Android?
Apple, and I just downloaded the app.
Yeah, and then just log in. If you don't know, two ways: do the forgot, or just call the number there. RPR is very, very good at getting you guys hooked up. Okay, if you're not sure what it is. So I found this piece of land here, active at 499.9. Okay, pictures are there. All right, it's 299 days on the market. What's here that we don't see on this? We don't see an RVM, right? And it's vacant land. Wow, so they couldn't find it. So let me see if I can find residential. No, this is all acreages, acres. Let me see if I can find a single family, something that'll help us here. Looks like the only thing for sale is acreage. There we are, finally.
You said it's the same login as the Stellar?
As the same one that you use in there when you go through Stellar. All right, so hold on. I'm trying to get All right, come on, RPR. Okay, so you see where you can schedule a showing time right from it, okay, because it's built in. It shows you new active days in RPR 4, okay? Tells you who is the agent, the nearby listings, the nearby comps that are there. You can create a report from there. You can do just about everything and anything you want. Now, someone asked about, can I search by address? So yeah, I'm going to search by address. So I'm going to search this one. Okay, so this is a house in Belleville, New Jersey, okay? The house is behind the car there, it's that one there. It did play in 2 episodes of The Sopranos, that's our claim to fame. It's my brother, my second brother's house, and his wife, my sister-in-law, Pat. When they came down the block, they said, can we use your house? 1,500. She says, give me 5,000, you can have it. So we wound up 2 episodes of Sopranos. Anyway, I was talking to my brother one day when I was up there. The RPR says right now, 4 stars, we're at 377, 460. And I said to him, Chris, you know what it's worth? And he says, well, I don't know. I said, well, you know, without doing a formal thing, it's worth about 378. And he said to me, he said, well, how do you know that? You're a Florida realtor. I said, I'm supposed to know that. It's my job. So he wasn't too convinced. So I said, you know what? I'm going to show him just how much I do know about his home. So as you scroll down here, you start to see the medium home value, everything. You see the high school, you see the AARP. So I got down to here where it says the mortgage records. So I said to him, I said, Chris, I said, do you still have that loan that you took out in 2011 with the UBS AGA Tampa branch with loan number M-1000, 2007, et cetera, et cetera? He says, how do you know that? You're not supposed to know that. That's private information. I said, I'm a realtor and I should know that. This is the power of RPR, ladies and gentlemen. This is what this beautiful tool is there to help you to get your job done. Please understand, I'm not trying to violate any private things. I'm just showing you that there is so much information that we have at our fingertips that we should know to help our consumers get to the finish line. Okay? Questions?
Quick question. If I pull up my RPR mobile, it shows that it's got the password as my the secondary MLS system that I use, and it's not going through.
And I would call RPR.
Do you set up your own password for this, or is it automatic through the MLS that you're going through?
You can. So what you can do, and I'm glad you brought up that point, Lydia, what you could do probably is this, guys. If you're already in your MLS, and I just thought about this and this makes sense. Let me just get out of here, stop the share. If you want, if you're in RPR in your MLS, then what I would do is go back to that MLS. Let me see, I'm trying to get in here. Okay, we'll get in here. Go back to your MLS, and when you're in RPR, then go over here to your face if you have it. Click on your settings tab. And on your settings tab, nope, it's not on the settings tab, sorry. It's on the profile. Click on the profile. There we go. And on the right side where it says password, okay, it says enter current password. Let's see, where's the one where you can change it? There should be something here that says you can change it. If you know your password for here, because you're in there, then enter it, and then you can change it if you need to. If you're still not unsure, the bottom here should be right here. No, it's up at the top. The help. Under the help, you can chat with member support. They're very good. They're instantaneously. They'll help you they'll probably send you a relink, or you can actually call them. They're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can call them and they'll get you set up with both the mobile and stuff. Remember, you can also use this where? On your iPad, your tablet. You see here, I got 2 tablets and 2 phones set up here that I can use it on my devices. All right. All right, so that's all I got for today. For those of you
Can I
that
ask a really quick question,
absolutely.
just to summarize on the CMA, what's the price that we're telling the client?
Who is the customer? Is it a buyer or seller?
Buyer.
Buyer. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, according to my comparatives, the house is valued at $356. I know it's listed at $355. Because you hired me as an expert negotiator, I still believe that there is some wiggle room. Now, this is, of course, after what? After I called the listing agent and said, hey, do you have any offers on this property? Whatever they said. How many days it's been on the market? Now, for our purposes here, it was 6 days on the market, this one. 6 days on the market, and it went pending. So what does that tell you? They got offers. So my feedback to my buyer would have been, we need to go at list price. And based on their motivation, how bad do they want this home?
Okay, and if you were, what would you tell your seller if you had the seller?
For a list price?
Yeah, because I mean, everything came to 328.
Yeah, I get that. Well, no, everything came to 328 with everybody else. So even at 328, I would list it at 355.
Okay, so you're going to go by your CMA that you did.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, the reason being is I'm going to build in the closing costs.
Ronnie, a question, another question.
Yes.
So I just quickly did a CMA through RPR for my listing that I'm getting, and in a neighborhood I know well, and I punched in just the address. The first valuation says 791. I happen to know that it'll sell probably between 720 and 730 because I know the neighborhood well, and so I did the comps. I selected the ones I didn't want that were closest, that were the most alike, so I added them. So the comps were between 7 and 750. It still said 691, and there's nothing under 7. And also, so that's one question. What do you do when it's wrong and you just shelve it? Or also, their confidence was 2 stars. So do I just, in this case, just sort of say, oh, well, I'm just not going to use this tool?
So in that instance, yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, because you bring up a good point. Prior to pandemic, 2019, I had a property that was lakefront. We listed it at 425. The comps came in at 365. All of the offers came in at 365 to 407. I even had one guy fight with me and say, no, we stuck firm. We sold it for 425. It appraised for 425. So that's when you scratch your head and say, what did the appraiser see that I didn't see? You know what I mean? I mean, I swore it was only worth 365, but because we said it was lakefront, that's why we ran with it. So, I mean, this market is so up and down and confusing. You just don't know. It comes down to the motivation of the buyer and the motivation of the seller. If you got a seller that's still got in his head, put a sign in the yard, and my friend got 35 offers, so I'll get 45 because my house is better. You're fighting an uphill battle when you start. I mean, on the buy side, buyer's agents, use the tools, the leverage, use the leverage. How many of you will put down an escrow deposit that equals almost 10%? And it's not cash. Yeah, I'll do that every time. Well, Donna, we're used to 10% up north. But down here, $400,000 property, I see 1,000, 5,000. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
I'll put 40,000 down based on the buyer. If they're a 90-10, that's 10,000. That's 10% I got to work with. I'll write that contract on day one to look like it's 40 grand. But I'll protect it that I'm not giving 40 grand that day. I mean, escalation clauses work, right? Escalation clauses are great. If you get a savvy investor, they're not going to put a cap on it because that's how they run, because they don't want to tell you what their max is. Now, a lot of brokerages, a lot of lawyers will tell you, no, there better be a cap on it, and go by your broker in charge. But reality is that's another leverage tool that you can use. All right, so I got to move on because I got something to do with the rest of the Ignite class. Was this value for you guys today?
Thank you.
Thank
That
you,
was
Ronnie.
really-
Thank you.
Well, thank you all for staying. Those of you that did stay, I appreciate that.
Huh?
The last part will be for people in the Ignite class and for anybody that's in Florida. If you want to hang on, I will be showing a couple of tips with leverage for us in Florida. Okay. So
Ronnie, one more question. So
Yep.
in the previous scenario where the house was valued at 328 and the price, asking price was 354, and in the buyer's market, you put it as the 354. And as a buyer's agent, if we ask you and you say you have all offers coming in, so we can still offer 354, yet put an appraisal contingency there, then that will safeguard the 354 maybe, isn't it? If it doesn't appraise to that value, we can drop it.
Always. I would always put an appraisal contingency. Never leave the buyers at financial risk. Never. Never. I know you're hearing this out there that they're saying, well, only if they waive appraisal contingency. Don't do that. You're putting your buyers.
Yeah, I know. I waived it this time, and then the property didn't appraise, but he was ready to pay. They loved it. It was our 5th offer, so he didn't complain. But yeah,
I get that. Make sure you get it in writing because you don't want
Yeah.
that to come back and bite you. Okay?
Yes, that's true. Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. For those in Ignite, if you have to take a potty break, fine. But I'm going to get moving to the next part of this. Okay?
Thank you, Ronnie.
You're welcome.
Ronnie, when I pull this up, it shows me rental.
What's that?
Like it shows me rentals. Like if I put Claremont, and it shows me a bunch of rentals.
You got to set up the define the
user settings?
the home. Yeah, the settings.
Oh.
So it's probably in the home here. Oh no, I have Felice too. Yeah, it pulls them all. It's just on the top there.
Let's see. I put Claremont.
All right, so for those of you in Florida.
See?
Yeah, I want to know about the leverage.
Yes, ma'am, you already know.
You see, here it shows me.
You said leverage and I said I'm staying. And I think some of my agents did too.
All right, so here we go. So truth be told, in the state of Florida, my MLS is the largest MLS in the state. It's the 4th largest in the country, the United States of America. With that in mind, we have a leverage. We're the only MLS that I know of that has a whole country in its MLS. That's the country of Puerto Rico. Yep, Puerto Rico is in our MLS. And I can look at any property anywhere in the state of Florida, anywhere in the state of Florida.
That is awesome.
Now, what that means using my MLS is that somebody in my MLS listed that property. So, Mabel, where are you located?
In Bonita Springs.
And that's what, 3 hours south of me? I'm
Yes,
in
sir.
Orlando. Okay, so Mabel's located 3 hours south. Is it in my best interest to list the property here in my MLS or refer it out to Mabel in South Florida?
Refer it out.
Refer it out, which is absolutely correct. That's what you should be doing. Okay? So if I was to list it in this MLS, I could just imagine the horror of getting a phone call at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. Hey, come show me the house. Well, I'm not driving 3 hours to show the house. It's impossible. Okay? 6 hours back and forth. Anyway, so the best part would be to refer it. So let's see, do we have a tool now that I can use? Is there a tool available that will help me? And I call this beautiful tool the hidden MLS. It is the hidden MLS. So very simply, let me get the share. And some of you may have already heard of it, and that's fine, and maybe not. So in the state of Florida, we have what's called floridarealtors.org. floridarealtors.org. floridarealtors.org is a great website that most agents don't know exists. And guys, I mean, seriously, this website is helpful immensely. Right here, I'm just going to go to the chase. You see it says Tech Helpline? You can call them from 8 a.m., 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday to Friday, and Saturday, Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And for free, they will tell you how to fix your computer. They will tell you how to get a new computer. They'll tell you what to buy with a new computer. All you got to do is give your license number and they'll help you. They'll help you with everything.
Even if it's a Mac?
It says Tech Helpline. Tech Helpline. Free tech support for member realtors. If you are a Florida realtor, you are a member of this. Free tech line. Okay? That's number one. Number two, in case you didn't know it, under the law and ethics, I think it's there, the Florida Realtors Legal Hotline. That's a great tool. You can speak to attorneys. They're not going to tell you this is what we recommend your buyer or seller do. They're going to tell you this is what speaks to the language of the contract or addendum or addendas or anything else that you're trying to get across or learn about. They're open 9 a.m. to 4:45, Monday through Friday. If you can't reach your broker, and our broker is very accessible, that would be your next best bet. All right, so the hidden MLS. The hidden MLS is this beautiful tool right here. It's called MLS Advantage. MLS Advantage, MLS Advantage. Okay, now before you all try to run and start logging in and everything like that, if you've never, ever been here before, you go to where it says first time here, register, first time here.
Where was that?
Register.
Under what?
I was under MLS Advantage on the first page. Right here, MLS Advantage. Okay, so I'll show you exactly what it looks like. MLS Advantage, where realtors in Florida share listings. Where realtors in Florida share listings. Once you are set up, then you can log in. I gotta remember. Okay, then you'll get this giant screen that comes up where you can search and look at other things, okay? So for our purposes today, we are going to go on the premise that you set up your buyer with the premise of, hey, I can find any property for you. I can get you any information on any and all properties that you see fit that you need to learn about, okay? And you tell them, all I need is the MLS number, or I need the address, and that's it. All right. So they come to you and call you or text you, and they say to you, and I quote, you told me to find the MLS number. Well, this is the number. The MLS number is RX-107 00606. Now, most of you in my MLS will say that's not an MLS number, because our MLS number begins with a consonant. It's either OST, which stands for the associations. For us, it's Aura, Oscar, Tampa, etc. So you may chuckle to yourself and say, oh, that's the wrong thing, okay? Don't, okay? Others that are old enough might say, oh, it looks like a prescription, RX. We're going to put that number in and we're going to search and see what happens. Well, looky, lo and behold, it is in Orlando, Florida, and it is a listing here in Orlando, and it's called, let me see, 1579 Shire Oaks. Unfortunately, right now, it is terminated. So what does that mean? Anybody?
No longer for sale.
Well, it's not for sale, but what's the opportunity?
Oh, to call, get it listing.
Get it listed. Yeah, there's an opportunity to go list it. Ding, 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 just found a free one. Okay, but guess what? It didn't show up in your MLS. The reason being is it's not with your MLS. It's with the Beaches MLS, as it states right here. Beaches MLS. They took this listing. Okay, let's try again. Next one. Some of these may or may not work. It's been a while since I've been in here. This one. Lookout Point 34786. That's right here in Windermere. 725,000 expired. This does not show up in my MLS because it's listed with the Miami Association of Realtors. Once again, the hidden MLS, the hidden MLS. This is your opportunity to go after other homes that are not coming up here. All right. Most agents in this office use triple line dialer. They'll use a system. We give you Land Voice for free. This won't come up in Land Voice because it doesn't pull from Miami. It pulls from Stella. So how can I use this to my advantage, you say? Well, let's do it two ways. So the first way is this. We're going to go up to search. I have looked for homes left and right for my buyer. I have looked for homes left and right for my buyer, and we couldn't find anything. So today, I am going to start a new search. Let's see, come on now. Okay, I am going to go, and I'm just going to make it real quick, guys. I'm going to go Orlando. Okay, I'm just going to leave that as Orlando. Okay, I'm not going to put any zip codes, going to search the whole thing. I'm leaving active. I want to find active ones that I haven't seen on my MLS. Before I do that, I need to go down here to the bottom. It says exclude listings from MLS. I need to exclude listings from Stella because I don't want to bring up the Stella listings. I can look in my own MLS. I want to find active listings that are not in my MLS. Once I've done that, I click on search. And now presto changeo. Right here.
Nice.
In Dr. Phillips, I have one at 960. Okay. Listed with beaches. One for 480. Right in Orlando here. One for 429. These are the hidden listings. Now, truth be told, if I click on any of them, view details, the first thing you're going to see is the customer synopsis. This is the customer synopsis. So that's what it looks like, the customer synopsis. Okay. The next thing you see, it says listing details. That's the broker synopsis. That's your synopsis. Why? Because the first thing you want to do is look there and see under the listing information, the buyer agent comp is 2%, non-rep 2%. We are transaction agents, trans brokers, so it's 2%. That's how we get paid. So we're going to get paid 2% if we show this home and bring it to fruition. Okay. So right there, you can set up an appointment to show this home that you could never find in your MLS, but you did find it through MLS Advantage. Okay.
Wow.
So that's potential to use to show the properties now that you needed. And look how many they are. Okay. Well, what do you mean? I can't find anything under 300. Well, there's 3 right there. There's 3 right there that I see. Okay. So how else can we use this beautiful tool to our advantage? Well, it's this way. We can use this tool by, if we go to search, we can go Orlando. And this time I'm not going to do active. I'm going to do withdrawn, buyer. Now search. There is all the hidden expireds that you can now go and list. Very simply, you just found how many different properties that you could go and now relist. And if you go to view details, it's not every day, but there are some days where I have seen the owner's phone number right here next to it. Okay. If it doesn't have it, then what do? Well, then you door knock or use whatever tools you have available to you to find the phone number for the specific address. Okay. Is this a great tool to use?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
But I do not know why they are in MLS Advantage.
I have a question.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I had a customer when I was doing a search in Stella, and they're out of state, and they said, "Oh, we're finding some listings that you're not showing us." And I asked them, "Okay, send me a list of the listings," and then I researched them, and they said Trulio. I don't know if they said Zillow. how am I able to see listings that's not on our MLS that our customers may be looking at?
Well, first I need to find either the MLS number or the address, first of all. So
Okay.
if they're seeing stuff, it could be just what we just said.
Okay.
I had the same situation happen, but you're able to see like which MLS is listed with, and you can either
Sometimes.
yeah, that's what I wound up doing, and contacting the agent and got the, the information myself from them directly, or you can contact the MLS that they're with and get the same thing. They might charge you like a fee or something like that, but I literally just had that same situation happen.
Can I jump in?
Oh, please do.
Thank you. So sometimes you'll get your buyers, right, that will send you properties that they found on Zillow because they love to look for Zillow. And remember that anything that goes onto any type of MLS will automatically populate onto a Zillow. So I typically, if I look first on the MLS and it doesn't come up, I immediately Google search that address that they gave me. And then it will bring it up typically on Zillow. If you scroll to the side, it will tell you the listing agent, and it will tell you what MLS is on. If it's on an MLS, I immediately go to MLS Advantage.
Yep.
I don't proceed on Zillow any longer. I just go straight to the MLS Advantage, because I know that once I pull MLS Advantage, it's going to give me the listing information. It'll give me the showing instructions, and I don't have to basically call anybody else other than doing it right there. And then if it tells me click on Showtime, I already have Showtime's phone number stored. So I'll just call them and schedule it directly that way. So just use MLS Advantage. And when they give you an address, I always ask, what website did you see it on? And it's usually the three, right? Realtor.com, Zillow, or Trulia. And so it's easy to just do it then.
Take it one step further. If it's on the MLS, like Mabel just said, you could put that address into RPR and then click on showing time, and it'll give you the showing instructions right
there. Yep.
Built in together. You don't even have to cut out the middleman. And what'll RPR already have? The listing agent's phone number, address, and information right there. So there's leverage right there. So, but
Thank
yeah,
you.
that's how you'll find that. Now, look,
I have a question.
yes.
So I want to see, so when you go for hidden expired search, so city you put Orlando and property status withdrawn, expired, terminated, and what else you did on your page?
I'm sorry?
So when you did on your page, city Orlando, you fill in that there, and property status withdrawn, expired, terminated, and what else you fill in on that page?
Oh, at the bottom, you have to exclude your MLS, because otherwise it's going to bring up everything in your MLS.
So what MLS?
Which MLS are you with?
Oh, okay.
Whatever MLS you're with, and it's in Florida, you would have to exclude it.
Yeah,
So
Oscar. Yeah.
If you're, where's that? Oscar. Okay, so you're Stella. So you still have to eliminate Stella. Otherwise, it's going to bring up all of the expires, withdrawn, and terminated in Stella, which you can look at in your own. You want to be able to narrow it so you only looking at others that are not showing up. That's the leverage of this tool. So Pat, like you in Tampa, right? You want to look outside of Stella, but for Tampa properties is what you're doing.
Yes.
So put in Tampa, eliminate Stella, you're with Stella, and then see all the Miamis that are listings in your area, and then say, oh my God. I mean, I love it when my leadership says we get our shares stolen by onesies and twosies. No, you're getting stolen by MLS Advantage, because I just show you how many is being stolen. It's amazing. Wow. That's where it's coming from. But
good stuff. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so that's it for today as far as that has to go. Those of you that are in Ignite, guess what? You got a homework assignment. for tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow, we're going to talk about what to do to present to the seller. We're going to talk to present to the seller tomorrow our findings with RPR and everything else. Okay. So we're not going to use the same address that I did this morning. We're going to use a different address. I'm going to put it into the chat for you guys. The address is 8227 Blue Star Circle. And the zip code is 32819. Make sure I got that right. 8227 Blue Star Circle, 32819. That is the property that we are going to be presenting tomorrow to our sellers.
You want us to do a CMA? on it?
Yes, please. A full CMA needs to be completed for tomorrow's class. Okay? And then we're going to talk about that.
Mhm.
Okay. Final ahas, questions, etc.
No, pretty useful.
We're
Everything
good?
was very useful, yeah.
This is very useful. I actually put in the area in Riverview and Tampa. And
Riverview. Nice. You just found a jackpot, right?
Yes, I did.
Don't tell nobody in your office.
I'm like, whoa, okay, great. Thank you so much.
Okay. Brittany, you had a question?
Yes, but it was something outside of this.
That's okay.
Oh, okay. So I noticed that my license number is incorrect on the app and on the, I guess you could say Connect, and I'm not able to edit that. So I don't know if I run that by you or try to get in contact with Scott Leroy on that.
So license number in MLS?
My license number on that, like our app that we use.
Yes.
And yes, it's missing one number, but I don't know.
If it's in the MLS, you must call Laura.
Okay.
If it's not in the MLS, then it's probably either your marketing profile or your white pages profile.
It's those two. It's not in the
Okay.
MLS. The MLS is correct.
Then you can do it.
So I was trying to, but I didn't see any like box or anything where I can edit it, but I'll run it back again.
You go to profile
Yes,
and just edit it there and then click save at the bottom.
I'll try it again. Thank you.
Okay. In command, you need to go to your pretty picture, hit settings, then go to command on the left side, command, and you go to connect settings, and it should be marketing profile.
Okay.
Marketing profile. If you have trouble, set an appointment with me. We can fix that. Okay.
Okay. All righty. Thank you.
All right. Who has a question? Eleanor.
Yes, Ronnie. I'm not in your market center, but is there a link that I could listen in if I wanted to tomorrow also?
Same link.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay. Is that easy enough? All right. So, any other questions? No? Okay. I'm going to give you back 5 minutes of your life. Okay. So make it a great day. Don't forget, share those equity analysis, the Kelly snaps. I'm telling you, you'll get.
So, what timing will be tomorrow?
Same time, 9 a.m.
Oh, same time, 9 to 12. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you so much,
Thanks, Ronnie. Have a great one.
You're welcome.